Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Evil Dragon XXL, and welcome to a new league. Welcome to an old format because normally we have graphics. I don't have an Elgato boy here. And joining me today, because Jess is unavailable and can't do Mondays, it's my favourite Dutchman. It's Vectro. Hello, Vectro.
Hello, everybody. It's Vector here after well, maybe a year? I don't know, half a year. Well, I'm really back. I'm really happy to be in the commentary box again, but since it's such a long time ago, I will be a little bit rusty maybe here and there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this race, Formula Renault at Hockenheim, and we're about to start in 3, 2, 1, 0, loading screen.
Indeed. Well, we'll get on to the drivers and what this season's going to be all about in due course. But Vetro, question is, though, Formula Renault, we haven't seen it for a long time. Last time I remember seeing Formula Renault was about a year ago, and I flipped about 16 times in a social race. It didn't end well. So what can you expect from this race, do you think?
We can expect people to be really careful with wheel-to-wheel contact. Of course, normally in GT3 and other leagues we normally race in AOR, people will be side by side on the limit. But here you really have to give each other a lot of space because the damage sensitivity on these cars is insane. One slight tap and it's 100 damage on the front or the rear. And these cars are pretty easy to flip over. So we will probably see a lot of incidents in this championship, but of course also a lot of good racing, and I'm looking forward to it.
Indeed. Well, not often I don't actually have to hold the controller today because I'm not doing the directing, so the directing should be good this time. So expect the unexpected. Well, we'll go through the field in just a few seconds' time. We're just getting ready to get on the circuit. About the first man on the circuit. Long time, people might remember, the old Kaiser. Haven't seen him for about, what, about 3-4 months to be fair. An old former favourite, an old friend of mine as well. The man who's often one of the top running guys in any league. So what can he do in Formula Renault? That's the question. Joining him in the favourite team that is always these two, Jazzman and the Kaiser, and a formidable pair driving the old Fanatec livery, which always reminds me of the McLaren livery from the early 2000s. There's DJD, he's disconnected again. Behind them, I believe we should see Michael. Now there we go. So your COD, your Jesus, literal Jesus there, Michael Renault. He is the God. He is the founder of the PS4. He is the Almighty, indeed. So what can he do this season? We'll get down to that in due course as well. Behind them we have Martin Robertson. He's driving the Remco livery car, the car that very much is inspired on an old 80s Renault design. Of course, these are the form of the Renault cars, so there might be some form of the Renault liveries. Meanwhile, there's Big Kid Daddy. He's driving the yellow mustard bustardy liveried car, and we always like to see what Big Kid Daddy can do. He's been a firm favourite in the GT3 season, and what can he do for the Renault season? Chicano, back again from the Endurance League, if I'm not too mistaken there. A driver that has also run quite well in GT3 in previous seasons. What can he do today? That's a good question, of course. You've got 30 minutes of qualifying to go ahead of us. We have the God Ty. He's new to this tier, I believe, and new to AOR as well, especially from my memory. I haven't seen him in the Endurance League as of yet. Behind them there is the Kaiser. There is Racing at Home, a good old favourite of some drivers in the chat, and a man who oftenly can get some incredible stuff out of the car. He's driving the Panasonic livery there, of course, and very much iconic livery, but it's not red and white, so it doesn't count. There is his teammate, meanwhile, sitting behind him. That's Yan G. He's also driving in the Panasonic livery car, or as I'm now going to call it, the Blue Toyota. STR Dan. He's driving a green livery. It looks like a Jaguar. And what can you do? Well, some could say it's a bit of a thundery car, Vetro, and that is a very thundery car on livery, isn't it?
I like it. The Jaguar F1 cars were one of my favorites back in the day. And also, I think this is one of my favorite liveries in Formula Renault. I used to use the blue and white and orange one a long time ago, but this one is not that bad. Let's go on to the next driver.
Now there's Tintin, our favourite driver, the very most, what should we say, flamboyant driver.
Flamboyant.
That's the one, flamboyant. I'm dyslexic, I can't do English, okay? Vetro's Dutch, so he can't do English. This is going to be an interesting stream. There is the Kaiser, currently in P1. That is DJD, he's rejoined then, so let's see if he can stay in this time at least.
Behind... Now it's getting a bit confusing, who have I got and who have I not got. Let's just go to the
Fogarty.
Timing to see who else we've got.
Oh, you got Foggy to go then. That is the last driver. We missed old Paul Fogarty. We've missed him out again.
Wimstradamus is also here. Kleek. Kleek is new in our league, I think. Yeah. And that was all. And Martin Robertson, I think we haven't got yet. So that is our grid for this season. The DJD clean shirt. He's also new. He's having a lot of trouble with the connections, it looks like.
Yeah, you could say it's not a very clean sheet, Vetro, because he can't seem to get in it. At last, Kaiser through the last corner, blistering speed. Now that is through one of the fastest corners on the circuit, by the way. The last corner, and he goes 8/10 quicker. Puts him 2.8 seconds clear of Big Kid Daddy sitting right behind him. So Kaiser on a flyer right now. We're looking at Xian Ji through Mobile 1 then. Quick little right hand. You want to be careful you don't get too wide on the exit. The exit of those curbs will spit you off into the barrier, into the Scats curbs then. Down into second gear, and then build the revs back up to third, and then up into fourth. Up into fifth, then down into the penultimate corners. Vetro, we've seen many incidents down there in the wet, in the dry, not as often. However, I do remember a very spectacular crash happened there, and a start Hockenheim a while ago. Alas, he stays fourth. Jazzman up to P2, then in the second.
He's going 7 tenths faster though, I think. Or yeah. Here we go, 2 tenths faster in T1. Him and the Kaiser, both teammates, are now occupying P1 and P2.
Indeed, well, down through the parabolica then, and then down into this tight hairpin on the top, well, the tightest corner on the circuit. First gear, let the front end switch in, then the rear end switch out for good measure. A bit of oversteer for good counter measures as well. Plus, then down into this tricky right-hander. Blink and you'll miss it as they come in at about 250 kilometers an hour. Down on the brakes, chuck it into the right-hander again, and then through the exit of the Mercedes grandstand, and then down towards Mobile 1 battery. This corner, oftenly frightening.
This is a really frightening corner. All the way to the left to open up the corner, almost into the concrete barrier, as far as you want to. Also in GT3 they do this, a lot of lag spikes that might hamper him with light tiny bit.
Yeah. Last two corners, does that okay. Last corner as well, the grandstand there. You can imagine them all on the those very famous noises that I don't know what they're pronounced like, but they're all like kazooie sounds. I don't know what they're called. Indeed, stays second so far. Bicky Daddy down in third as well. Bicky Daddy often doing quite well in these races. Fogarty down there in fourth as well. So good to see the likes of Bicky Daddy and Fogarty relatively up there, Vetro.
Yeah, they're all doing a great job. Fogarty as well. That's a big surprise. Big surprise there. He's doing okay. He's currently in the pits, 1.9 seconds off the pace. It looks like Kaiser is at a blistering lap time. He's almost a second quicker than the nearest competitor.
Indeed, very much so. There is Jazzman, in fact, coming through down towards that tricky little right-left complex. You want to make sure you don't end up locking the tyres up here as well. These cars are very easy to lock up as here comes Tinnis cross the line, and we expect him to go up towards the top 3 or 4. Where's he go? Well, he's in 5th right now, and that is his qualifying done. So that is not what Tinnis really wanted to do. We got Xian in 6th ahead of Michael.
Got still 7.5 minutes to go, so
yes.
Anything can still happen.
There's a DJ. He's got some rather dirty laundry, a little bit of dirty internet right now. There is Rob 2K then. He's one of the new drivers as well. There is Martin Robinson as well. He's driving the Remco liveried car. There he is coming into shot down into the hairpin. Vetro, you've got to look meanwhile. Wimstrada's down there in 9th position. We've got Cole just ahead, Cole Tyre ahead of him, and Michael just ahead of him. But we're already starting to see Vetro a little bit of a gap forming in qualifying as well between the top guys, which you've got really the top 4. Then we got the second bunch there down from 5th, about 7th. Then we got a big gaggle of cars 8th down to 10th. Then they're all kind of just drooped down 11th towards 15th.
The way I see it actually now is like we've got the Kaiser on top and the entire field behind there. Oh, he goes wide there. Just gotta watch out.
Yeah, easy to do that actually. You can really get your car airborne if you're not too careful. The rear end not as stable compared to the likes of Formula 1 car. There is Rimstrada's driving the gobsmacking and beautiful dark navy blue liveried car. That is the XVN car, if I'm not too mistaken, that livery. And we'll just see what they can do. Martin, meanwhile, he's in 14th. We'll see what they can do with Rob as well. DJD has got back in the session, by the way, so qualifying not all over for him yet. We have still got, like I said, 6 minutes to go. A long qualifying, veteran, compared to what we are used to, isn't it?
It really is. I haven't actually seen the timing beginning, I'm certain, but I think it was about 20 minutes. Normally we've got 15 minutes, but maybe it's got 20 minutes this time.
A little bit longer, let's go. There goes DJD again, and he must be careful, by the way. He doesn't end up destabilising the lobby. I think the CODs might tell him to stop doing it because he is causing a little bit of lag there. Shouldn't do any of it too much there, as Stratus a little bit wide. Yeah, a little bit too wide in the Scats curb there. Meanwhile, there is Cleek there. He's lagging, is what he is doing right now. He's driving the Rapper Kappa livery car, as I like to call it. The livery which you often run, Vector, in most leagues.
That is true. Yeah, I used to use it in a different league, and luckily got a champion in that livery, so I got fond memories of this car. I really like it, and but this time I decided to commentate on it because it's a beautiful sight to see these cars going for corners.
Indeed,
Cian,
they are.
now I haven't seen him before drive, let alone in AOR. Only 2.2 seconds on the pace on his first outing in a major league anyway. Currently 5th, not a bad position. And oh, there we go. He's not 5th anymore because Tinnis has just taken a position off of him.
Yeah.
Tinnis is normally he's a front runner in the GT3, but he seems to be a bit less relaxed in this car.
Yeah, struggling a little bit right now, but anything can happen, of course. Still 4 minutes to go, not over yet. He has got 10 litres, mind, in the tank. He will not be very quick on this lap. He to go very wide through T1 as he comes down through the parabolic, down towards the hairpin vector.
He was already 1 second off his lap time, so he'll probably wait until he comes around to the final corner again and try again.
Indeed.
But the tyre wear, I don't know how bad the tyre wear is in this championship yet. That's all just questions unanswered, but we'll soon see what we're up to.
Indeed, well, Tennis, 5th place so far. Michael down there at 8th. He's currently pit lane with cold tyres, and Wim Strategist as well. 7th, 8th, and 9th all in the pit lane right now. We're going to be going on circuit in a jiffy meanwhile, racing at home. Coming through the hairpin so far. He is in top position. Not too shabby qualifying for the young driver, at least. A fond driver in the Endurance League, has had some brilliant races. To be fair, I've been looking up a little bit, a couple of 5th places here and there. But relatively big gap up towards these top guys. And again, Betro, seeing racing at home as they're in the background. One car going off. I wonder who that was.
I don't know the liveries that well
maybe.
yet.
Cleek.
Oh, Cleek is in the
rapid cars, so hard to see. It might, yeah, STR maybe then. So yeah, it would be.
Might be his teammates or.
That'd be an STR because the car ahead would have been racing at home then. So small mistake for him as he comes through the last corner. New drivers on the block, as we can see. We have lost one driver. That is of DVD. He's no longer in the session. He does not have any ability to rejoin the session. So STR down then. What can he do so far in the green T-Rex-esque livery, or the Jaguar, as I'm now going to call it forever. So we're going to use Formula 1 terminology in this race. It's a Jaguar, and it's beautiful. There he goes then, down towards. He's 10th down in the first sector. Not going to be the best to do so far. We've got a few cars out ahead, and that might be Cole Fogarty in 4th position, just slightly ahead of him. Up front, though, Kaiser looks like he's got it all done. Venture, he is 121.8, and that is just under 8 tenths ahead of Jazzman, who's currently in the pit lane.
Definitely, just look at the sheer speed he goes through corners, and it's a cut above the rest, I dare say. It's even 8/10 faster than Jasmine, and we all know that Jasmine is a really quick driver in GT3 at least. So we will possibly, coming into the season, see the pace difference decrease because everybody needs to get used to the car. So the pace will probably even out later on in the season. Let's hope so at least. So he goes for his final lap. I don't think he will get another lap in after this. Oh, Big and Daddy goes up to seconds. That's a really good lap from him. Even faster than Jazzman. So he's hooking into the car, it seems.
Indeed, Jazzman on a flyer right now. We don't often see him going so high up, but right now he's currently in second position so far in the mustard car, the mustard buster team, as I always used to call it back in the past days. Let's see what he can do. Like, can he go any higher than that? Well, it's going to be a tall order to dethrone the Kaiser. He's just up the road for him, by the way, just coming through the exit of the hairpin, if I'm not too mistaken. So, Big Daddy, bit of a slide on the rear end there, trying to get the front end turned in. Now, this is a corner you want to be doing. You want to chuck it down the right, get on those curves, and really just brake late into the Mercedes-Benz arena then. A little bit too wide there, that might compromise them. So let's see if you carry any speed though. We'll get the sector split in a few seconds time. Another big slide on the rear end for good measure. And he is a 10th down, so it's not over yet through Mobile 1. Down into the last couple of corners. Can Bicky Daddy get anything out of this car? The only other driver near him, Xian in 6th position so far. What could Bicky Daddy do then? Through the last two corners, there is the Kaiser off the road meanwhile. So he's got out of the way, Bicky Daddy through the last corner. Can he get himself any higher up in second position? The answer to that is a grand total of no. He cannot do any better than second position. Xian, one of the few other drivers on circuit, by the way. We've got Wim Stratus as well. Qualifying is officially over, so these drivers on that final lap veteran. Who else can improve?
Cole Tires next to cross the line. Actually, there's one person in front of him, but we don't know who. See if he goes a bit too wide, it'll be invalidated there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rob is still all the way there. It might be Cian next, possibly?
I think it'd be Xian, the car just ahead of him there. It's Fogarty. No, it's not Fogarty, so it'll be Rob or Mark. No, Markton's finished his lap then, so it might be...
Rob's okay, he is up. He is up. He only needs a 10th to go in front of STR Dan. So let's see his final sector and see if he can improve.
Tricky little corner here, by the way. The car behind really flying.
There.
Well, yeah, he is stuck on the curb through the last corner. He's backed up his lap then.
So
Xian, last across the line. Let's see what he can do. He's currently 6th, a little bit wide for the last corner. That might have invalidated his lap time for good measure. It did do so. And that is qualifying over. There is the pit wall. And on pole position then for the first round of the AOR for the Renault season. Season 2 at least, not Season 12 as I might have accidentally put in the chat. It is the Kaiser MSC, of course, on pole position by 6 and a bit tenths of a second. Then from Bicky Daddy in second position, Jazzman will line up on third on the second row of the grid ahead of his long-time rival Tinnis. Fogarty in 5th position, the old horse then with a 340 Grand Prix start is currently in 4th position. Behind him we have Xian, then we've got Cleek in 8th position ahead of the other She Hates driver in 7th. It's going to get very confusing in a minute. CCC, and then we've got Wim Stratus in 9th. Michael in 10th. Cole Ties down in 11th position, racing at home alongside him in 12th. Down the back, we've got STR, Rob and Martin bringing up the rear.
See, look at the entire grid of cars waiting for the 5 lights to go on and the 5 lights to go out afterwards. This is a really good sight to see, isn't it, Evil?
Yeah, often there is. Remember, like, we have not very often a grid start to look forward to. We do have the sprint and feature race that did run in GT3 last season, well, this season as well. To be interesting to see if that's what they can do down towards turn number 1. Well, everyone's going to be running.
The entire top 4 is made out of 2 teams. Actually, it's the yellow team and the black team. I don't know the exact names, but
and then the
Fanatec and the Sheriff Tizer team.
Yeah, or as it's called them, the McLaren and then the Jordans, I used to call them back in the day. Down the back, meanwhile, we've got everyone coming through racing at home down there. We've got the Jaguars, and then right down the back, the 2 Renault liveried cars. Right down the back of the grid, Up front, though, McLaren versus Jordans, I'm now going to call this, until I get linked what everything is, because apparently the standings haven't been updated, or mine at least, because there is no information. So, a little bit unfortunate for that one. I can't exactly tell you what the teams are. All we do know is Fanatec versus the beautiful yellow mustard car, which I'm now going to call one of the Jordans. So, Vetro, turn 1, quick right-hander. We're just waiting for the last couple of seconds. Who do you think is going to be there, Kaiser or Big Kid Daddy?
Well, Big Kid Daddy's got the inside, and Kaiser's got the outside. I don't know what the best line is, but we'll soon find out.
3, there comes the 4th, and the 5th goes off. We'll be underway, and it is lights out, away we go. Then good start from Kaiser. Brilliant start from Jazzman as well in the background. Big Kid Daddy under pressure already. Around the outside, Jazzman tries. Completely off the circuit there and joins back 2-3 cars off. Fogarty a bad start down there in the midfield, but everyone clean away through turn number 1 and into 2 then. So it is Kaiser leading from Big Kid Daddy. 1 car in the background is racing at home, getting a big tank slapper there. But Kaiser flying off the front of this grid, Vetro. Stonking starters. There's a few cars tripping over in the background. Both of the Renaults there coming into contact nearly, and as well as racing at home. But it is the Kaiser leading from Big Kid Daddy, Jazzman to the... Oh, the big accident! Big accident. That is Martin pointing backwards. And that is the Renault in big trouble indeed. He was upside down there, right down the back. And I think more contact, Vetro, potentially between Michael, who's dropped right down the back as well. So I think Michael might be in trouble right down there on that number 1, as STR battling as well. But so far, Vetro, a stonking start from the Kaiser.
Yeah, Matt, he's already got us 1 second lead. People are hitting the barrier right there. You have to go as wide as you can to open up the corner. But everybody taking a lot of risk. And most people staying out of trouble, but unfortunately for Martin Robertson, not ending really nicely on the parabolica.
Yeah, Cleek, a bit
of looking at the back of Cleek. Around the outside, let's see if he can get a better line, because you can make overtakes in turn 1, even though it's really, really tight. And he'll be better off to wait for the next corner.
Bit of lag though, I must say, actually, for the driver of Cleek. Rather laggy there. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, Cleek Chicano. There is Chicano having a look up the inside of Cleek.
He was pretty laggy.
Hopefully, no disconnects inbound for Lem. Michael, meanwhile, having a little battle there. Or is that from Stratchester? Michael battling to go, and never mind. That Kaiser still leads from Big Kid Daddy. Jazzman 3rd. Fogarty down there in 6th. This has made up a few positions so far. In the background there, you can see that must be Rob or someone going up the inside there of Michael. Yeah, Rob 2K up the inside of Michael, then gets late braking done. Easy do up the inside there. However, you're given the room on the outside, my friend. You will try and slot back through. The outside line possible here. Difficult corner because it's really easy to run into each other. Michael rather runs himself out of road there for good measure. And now he drops back behind Rob 2K as well. Racing at home starting to close on these two as well. Down the back, meanwhile, Martin in the pit lane. No surprise after that damage. He's just currently exiting as well. Big Kid Daddy Vetro keeping up with the Kaiser right now, that number 3.
Yes, he is. He's getting really close to the Kaiser. I think he's got a good chance of catching him, actually. They're doing the same amount of laps. Look at the laps. He was almost a second quicker than the Kaiser on the last lap, so he might have made a mistake somewhere.
Indeed, he often does make some more mistakes, Kaiser. He's back in the tier, by the way. Meanwhile, there's Tinus going a bit wide. There is Jan, actually. Now, he should be able to slot back up the inside of the car behind. There's Chicano.
There's a move of Chicano.
Yeah, Chicano's still hounding the back of his fellow C there. His fellow letter C, at least. Cleek as well. And we got Fogarty up the way to his CCC. And then there goes the W and the R. As in the background there, you can see that is... that car of Martin right down there coming through towards Mobile 1. A few lockups as well. In the background we've got, that's racing at home, having a look at Michael up the inside. I won't do it there, my friend, because Michael's having a look up the inside of Rob 2K. Rob 2K rather mugs off a little bit right there on the exit as well. Got rather early on the brakes, and really you just give an opportunity to Michael, and he's going to come through that too, isn't he?
Yes, he definitely is. Now he makes a slight mistake, Rob is.
Yeah, up
Rob
again.
goes a bit wide there, and he might give the position back to racing at home. Around the outside he goes. And
Off circuit.
here he goes.
I think it was slightly off circuit, Vetcher, so he might get a little ding for that one for good measure. He looks like he's just about stayed off. No penalties to be fair so far. Oh, one car off. Who is that?
Chicano. I think it's Chicano.
Yeah, Chicano, you're right
and
then. So
damage
he's,
as well.
yeah, he's got on the card then, hit the
battling
wall.
with Cleek. Let's see what Cleek is up to. Cleek, no damage for him, but they might have made a bit of contact. It's hard to say though.
Yeah, a bit of lag, of course.
They're coming
so...
up to Martin Robertson to lap him. Let's see. Oh, no contact, please.
Martin getting well out of the way there, so he's already a lap down. Kaiser still leads this race, though. We're on lap number 4 so far from Bicky Daddy in second position in the Jordan-esque liveried car. Then comes the second McLaren car of Jazzman in third position. Now he's ahead now of that is Martin down there in 50th position. Now I reckon, Vetcher, that Chicano's gone and dropped it on the curbs through Mobile 1, and that's where he's hit the wall. Very easy to do. If you dip those tyres into the curbs, they're serrated curbs as well, so they can really chuck your car off. If we go on board with Mr. Cole Fogarty so far in 6th position, driving in the gorgeous red Ferrari-esque liveried car, we'll really just see what the corner is like. So you come through this corner as in the foreground, that is Xian, I think, hitting the wall. You can see, yeah, he has gone on the curbs, so you can see the lines.
On the outside are evil.
Indeed, they very much are.
Good battle at the back going on, I think, between STR Dan, Rob, and Racing at Home. Big Daddy is falling a bit back to Kaiser, by the way. 1 second is now the gap. Back to where it was at the beginning of the race.
It's a big gap load, Retro, from third downwards. Third to fourth, like, what was it? 6-7 seconds, I say that roughly is there. Yeah, about that. So about 5-6 seconds, actually, give or take. Yeah. Tinnis struggling so far as STR Dan having a look on the back of Rob 2K. Rob a little bit sided through the last corner, got a bit of a twitch on the brake, and that's not going to help him there. But luckily for him, you got this quick turn 1 and STR Dan, a little bit slower exit for good measure. Down towards turn number 2, though. No opportunity to come up the inside or the outside there. Especially, you've got to be careful over extra down towards the hairpin. If you get a line here, we've seen it before in the likes of GT3, I remember, with Papano. He slammed in the back of a few cars, and especially in these cars, Vetri, you've got to be very careful not to lock up those tyres and go slamming into the car ahead, because they will flip very easily.
Yeah, there's a massive concertina effect on the braking zone of this corner. If you brake later than your competitor, it's really easy to go into the back of someone else. So caution is to be expected when you are making a move here. It's a really tough corner.
Well, Racing
anyway,
at Home.
Racing at Home is the first penalty bearer of this league, and it's a 2-second penalty, not too much. Just gotta watch out that it not increases.
We're currently in 10th position so far. He will be battling, well, let's see how Michael see. He's got a bit of a gaggle of cars right behind him, actually, of Rob STR as
Fogarty
well.
in the pits.
Yeah, Carl Fogarty then in the pit lane. I'm wondering, is that a scheduled stop?
Scheduled.
Potentially. Must have a scheduled stop then, so he'll be in. Now remember, the top 8 in this race are going to be reverse order for the feature race coming up in just about 7-8 laps time as well, so get ready for that. One is Jazzman locking the tyres up a little bit on the rear axle there, but gets the car absolutely perfect.
The car stopped on the track somewhere. Oh, there's damage for Xian.
Now what has happened to Xian then? So he's going off, that's big damage there. Front left suspension completely and utterly caved in there, and he must be careful, he's got no one behind him, and that's going to be a long trip back to the pit lane, Vetro.
It really is. He might have made contact with someone. I think he was driving on the zone, so it might have been a fault on the zone, but we will never know. Yeah, there's no replays on this game, unfortunately.
Indeed, well, STR down the back of Rob 2K. Like you said, Vetro's about to say as well, for a color review on cue. Battling away with Rob up the road, that is Racing Home with that 2-second time penalty as so far. Meanwhile, though, looking at the front, we've still got the Kaiser dominating this race relatively compared to Bicky Daddy in the small run, though. 2 seconds is not a big margin when he was 8 tenths a lap quicker in qualification. However, you've got to think the big picture, veteran. So far, the big picture has to be that Bicky Daddy splitting the 2 McLaren cars in the Jordan, doing a phenomenal job, might I say, as well.
He's doing a phenomenal job, I must say. It's quite a surprise. I didn't expect him to be that far up. I mean, Jasmine and the guys are one of the fastest racers on the PS4 currently.
Oh, big accident there! That's a huge accident! 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in the road. What on earth has happened there? And we feared something like that could happen. That's STR Dan. That's racing at home. That must have been Cold Ties and Rob2K involved as well. Through turn number 1, what on earth just happened there? There must have been contact, Vetro. For the exit of turn number 1, we saw them all close together. But contact has been made and 4 drivers, Vetro, already involved in our first real major incident, a bar the start with Martin. And that is going to very much cause an interesting conversation later on, because what on earth just happened there?
It might have been that one of the guys lost the control, and it was just a chain reaction, I think. It might be. It's hard to explain. We just got in a bit too late. Actually, and Jasmine has taken a position second off of Big Kid Daddy as well.
It's all kicking off here, Vetro. Currently 7 laps to go. Big Kid Daddy now down to 3rd position. Maybe he got a little bit caught out there. There's definitely debris down there in turn number 1. There's racing at home, meanwhile. Well out of the way. Someone's got the braking board there. And oh, as he hits the braking board, that wouldn't have done too much damage, I doubt, to the car. The Big Kid Daddy now having a look back up the inside. Not going to do it there on the brakes, however. My friend, you're a little bit too far back there. So, Xian in the pit lane so far. We have 15 drivers still in this race. However, is what the braking zone there. One car getting well out of the way. That's one of them that must be damaged. But you gotta feel sorry. There actually is. That's Rob going backwards. Meanwhile, the background racing at home's cruising
Rob,
to a stop. And a big trouble so far, Vetro, in this race. And we feared something like this may or could happen in these races. Chicane, meanwhile, up to 8th. Cold Tires in the pit lane. He managed to get the car in relatively quickly. However, Vetro, it's really just about a race of survival, and when there's contact like that, there's nothing anyone can do.
Yeah, like I said, I think I saw on the map that 4 cars are really close together there. But well, nice battle going on there, but I think one of the guys lost it because they were not really engaged in a 4-wide battle at the beginning. So I think one of the guys lost it, the other guy lost it because of that. And then maybe 2 other cars lost it because of that, and there was just a massive chain reaction. It looked like a really bad crash. Unfortunate for the 4 of them.
Indeed, very much was, of course. LeBlanc's got one on the outside curve, one clipped him, and then bang goes the dynamite, racing home, and someone else had nowhere else to go. Straight slam to the side. There is STR Dan in the pit lane behind him there. Cold Tires slammed into the side of racing home. Rob2K now in the pit lane as well. And you can see big damage on that car, completely crapping down the pit lane, so that's going to be a long repair. Maybe might put in 1-2
somewhere
laps.
on the track. I don't know who this is.
Racing at home, I reckon.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Who was it? It's someone.
Racing at home.
Yeah, it might be someone who is. Yeah, it is racing at home. Oh, also with damage.
Yeah, he was involved in that contact.
He was involved. Yeah.
Yeah, got T-boned. So I'm not surprised it's going to be big damage to that, getting well out of the way. Good job for him, of course. Doesn't want to hold up any drivers and make contact, of course. But he was the man who was completely T-boned in that incident. I think he rolled, to be fair, as well. He gets right out the way of 1 or 2 of the cars there as they come through Mobile 1. A lot of gravel there. You must be careful rejoining the circuit. A lot of gravel down in towards the scratch curve, so that's going to make it very slippery. Fogarty in the pit lane again, by the way. So it's not gone well for Carl Fogarty. His second stop of this afternoon's race.
He's got enough fuel.
He's definitely got enough fuel, so he must have had a bit of damage somewhere, of course. Kaiser still leads this race, though, from Jasmine. Biki Daddy in 3rd. Tina so far in 4th position. Xian currently in 12th. We've got Cleek ahead of Michael in 5th and 6th. We've Samus in 7th. And Chicano now up to 8th position, Vetri. And Martin after that flip earlier on, by the way, now up to 9th, Vetri. Stonking pace. He's rather kept himself very clean after what was a horrific accident. We thought that might have been the last we saw him in this race, but no, he's back again.
Yeah, the entire massive crash he had on lap 1 doesn't scare him off. He fought his way back. He did really well to jump in where other people made a mistake. And when other people make a mistake, you can get a lot of time back. And of course the race is far from over actually. It's I think my lap counter is actually oh no, it's not stuck. It's it's lap 10 out of 14.
8.
I was
Oh no, we are on lap 11 actually. My apologies.
Yeah,
I'm looking at Sian. That confused me then.
Yeah, it also confused me. I thought my lap counter was stuck because I first looked at it, but then I realized you have to look at the top left where the Kaiser is. We're on lap 11 out of 14 officially. Sian's lap 8, and he is closing up on STR Dan. Well, he's actually dropping back to STR Dan a bit. And Fogarty has also unfortunately collected a penalty.
Indeed, racing home down the back as well.
I got a pretty back. Yeah, he's another. It's also he's still in the pits. I thought he was a bit with the pits again, but it's
still in from that damage earlier on. But his teammate, meanwhile, having a look at 11th position so far in this race. Not really opportunity up the inside. It's a bit too far back so far, unless he wants to really send one to the Shadow Realm, as some old jummers used to say. Well, he's having a look up the inside, to be fair of him. Can't do it on the exit loop.
Didn't get the traction.
Yeah, no traction in the Panasonic liveried Toyota, the blue Toyota car, might I say. STR Dan, he's doing an okay job so far, defending well on the inside, on the outside. Not really going to get him through here. Not really many overtaking opportunities in these Formula Running cars, Vetro. In the background, 1-2 car batting together. I'm wondering if that's a lapped car, potentially.
I think it is. Because I don't see any things that beef cars are close on the left. So I think they are lapped. Yes.
Yeah, they must be lapped then down the back, coming through.
This is the only real battle going on right now, and also Martin Robinson is getting caught up by Fogarty.
Indeed, Fogarty starting to fly in this race car. He's on new tyres, new fuel as well. STR down, though, under pressure still from Xian. Xian having a look up the inside. They're braking there. He's gone too deep. He's taken off the bollards for good measure. Very optimistic on the brakes there from Xian. Wasn't going to stop there, my sunshine. Went straight on. Luckily, no damage will be done to that. Maybe a little bit of a front end aero damage. Cold tyre, meanwhile, in the pit lane. I'm wondering that for damage yet again. Let's see. It doesn't look like he's got too much damage in the car, but another stop. Fogarty now up to a 9th position. Now having a look at Chicano for 8th. And Chicano might be absolutely mauled down the straight, however. We know Fogarty. No, that's Martin Robertson actually having a look back at Fogarty, actually. My apologies. Around the outside, they're breaking then from Martin Robertson. Fogarty on the inside.
Is he going to make it?
Won't do it. 2-1 on the outside there. Fogarty lighting up those rear tyres for good measure as well. In the beautiful red livery. So yeah, there he is. Having a still battle with STR Dan. That is the battle for 10th and 11th and 12th position, meanwhile, up front. Geyser is rather running away with this race. 3.6 seconds ahead of his teammate so far. Jazzman in second. Big Key Daddy now down into 3rd position. There is the debris, meanwhile, from earlier on. Behind Lem Tinner starting to close up Vetro, but not enough.
No, not enough at all. He's running about the same pace, about 5/10 off of Big Daddy. He's not. He's like steadily losing a bit of time, but he's still hanging on in there in 4th position. Still a really big comeback because he had a really bad qualifying, if I remember correctly. And I think he's doing a pretty nice job for compared to his qualifying.
Yeah, definitely starting to come through the field, of course. We know how good tennis is when they make mistakes. It's almost an endurance race in a sprint race, really. You have to think the long game.
I think he lost it.
Don't be brass. Sian almost losing the rear end there for good measure, but keeps it all together. These guys are 2 and a bit laps down now, and your leader, by the way, just coming through the last corner to start the final lap in this race, I believe. Yes, he is. And meanwhile, Wimstratus in the pit lane from 7th.
Still in the pits.
Yeah, Wim's just come in the pit lane.
Any damage? Yes, he's lost his front wing.
Now, I'm wondering, Vetri, should he have just stayed out there? Because he's coming in the pit lane, that's dropping him all the way down. He could have stayed out there. Is Chicano now into 7th position there? He's just got out the way of the Kaiser. Yeah, he will do.
Fogarty will go through, possibly. It depends on when he gets released.
Depends how much damage that, so really, but up front though, dominant performance, might I say. He is getting caught actually by Jazzman. It's not, well, it's definitely over, but he has pulled about a second out in the last 2 laps, but he does open back on the straight, of course. That is racing at home just in front of them there. It gets right out of the way there. Very late, might I say. Kaiser through then up into the lead still in this race. Behind him, Jazzman following suit in his fellow team cars. It's going to be a McLaren Run 2 in race number 1 then. But of course, we do have the feature race coming up. That's a reverse grid. Top 8 or 9, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I don't think it could definitely happen in those races, especially by the looks of the field spread, Vetro, as well.
It does mean that Wim Stradamus has now gone into pole position, or has he? Because he might get overtaken by Fogarty, even though he has got the penalty.
Well, we'll find out, of course. But Kaiser through the last 2 corners. He took lead from pole position. He stayed there from pole position. Start to finish, he had a battle with Bicky Daddy, but hold him off brilliantly. Through the last corner then, Kaiser wins round number 1 of 2 in this opening race. But not only that, it's a McLaren 1-2 on their debut. Bicky Daddy then, 3rd position. He'll be happy with that one. Back onto the podium for the first time in a long while. For him, behind them, Tinnis as well. Meaning it's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the same real order they started in as well. Tinnis, he finishes 4th. Behind them, a big gap down to Cleat. Wim Strategy has been overtaken by Fogarty. Cleat Clent through the last corner. 5th position for him. 5 and a bit seconds ahead of Michael as well. Yeah, yo, flag laps for everyone stopped down at turn number 1 and doing donuts, I imagine.
Yes.
Chicano down there in 7th position as everyone there stops. Yeah, Fogarty 8th. Stratus 9th, but of course.
Fogarty stays in 8th, so
does.
Fogarty will be on pole position for the next race.
So, Kaiser wins it from Jasmine Bicky, Daddy Tinnis, Cleek, Michael Chicano, Fogarty Wim Stratus, and then Martin Robertson. That is your top 10, Vetro.
Yeah, Martin Robertson is a great comeback from when he crashed in lap 1. Of course, STR Dan, Cold Tire, Rob and Racing at Home were involved in that massive accident. He did get Cyan at the end, but yeah, almost completely back in the top 10. Who was your drive of today of this race so far?
You can't fault Martin Robertson, of course, after that comeback, after being upside down. I've got to give it to him. I'd say the runner-up definitely would be Kaiser, dominating this race from start to finish low, not by too much, of course. 1.8 seconds, but of course he did slow down on the last lap as well, so it was about 2-3 seconds in the long run as well. But that McLaren team, Vetro, the top really 3 or 4, absolutely dominating this race.
Yeah, pure domination. If you look at the gap, actually, 8 seconds away from P3 was Tinnis. Let's see, Cleek had an even bigger gap, I think, to Tinnis.
Yeah, Tinnis about 10 seconds from Big Daddy down to Tinnis, and it was about 15 seconds, give or take, from Tinnis to Cleek, and then behind them about 6 seconds. And then, of course, it continues itself downwards as well. So, very close relative finishing times for quite a few drivers, Vetro. However, carnage, drama, upside downers, big accidents as well as plagued this race. If you do those, by the way, and it's a small glitch, by the way. We are in Britain, by the way. It obviously says, if you look at the top right, top left on my screen at least, it does say we're in England.
Also, something that I've noticed, it was really close between Fogarty and Wim Stradamus because he had a 1 second penalty. I think the gap at the end was less than 0.4 of a second. So it's a bit of a bad luck. He had the mistake early on, or late in the race from Stradamus, because he lost the pole position because of that, and he will have to start 9th for next race. Of course, he lost pole position for the next race, so bad luck for Wim. A lot of luck for Fogarty. So it will be basically a Ferrari 1-2 with Chicano and Fogarty.
Yeah, very much will be. The Ferrari has liveried cars. Then Michael in 3rd. Cleek down there in 4th, ahead of both of Lee Jordans in 5th and 6th. 7th and 8th, of course, both of the McLarens. And you've got to feel questions though for Jasmine, because this will be the part of the race where, especially we come to it, they'll be very nervous. Because they're starting really in the midfield in this race, exactly in the midfield. And we've seen how midfield drama can often result in carnage. So they're going to have to be very cautious in the opening couple of laps when we get to it.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, with a lot of new drivers, I don't know how long they have been in AOR. I don't know if they have a lot of confidence and or experience with the rolling starts. Of course, they will be at the far back. Well, they won't actually be.
Yeah, they will be at the back. All these guys down there. So the likes
they
of
will
Rob.
be. Yeah, they will be. Like guys like Martin Robinson and Cold Tire. I haven't seen them before, so this might be their first rolling start or one of their first. So let's see how much action we will have in the second race.
Yeah, of course. Do remember, like, all these drivers, they have done the evaluation race. They're going to be very knowledgeable of the regulations, but it's always up for a slip-up, veteran. We've seen it before in the likes of even in GT3 and Endurance League. You can slip up and make mistakes because the adrenaline just gets to you, and you think, okay, now it's time to go, and you get a penalty, and then you're in trouble, and then you're taken by the cods out back and beaten with a stick.
Well, digitally, of course.
Digital stick. We do not condone violence.
No, not at all.
We do condone violence, but we do condone violence, not the other way around. Nonetheless, though,
we do condone violence on the racing track, though.
Yes,
but within certain boundaries.
Don't beat your peers on the race circuit with your car. That's not good. Don't use your car as a weapon, as Lewis Hamilton once said to Maldonado in 2011, down in Belgium, of course, after that weird incident which occurred. Alas, though, veteran, we haven't got any Maldonados here, I presume. No, we do have some beautiful drivers.
Something that I also have noticed, look at the amount of pit stops that have been made. Pit stops are not necessary in this race, but everybody bar the top 6 have made a pit stop.
Indeed,
some
right
people
now.
even 2 pit stops. What do you think was the reason for that? Because there was no visual damage on some of the pitted cars.
Must have mechanical damage. So you can hit the rear on the car, you can hit the rear tyre on the wall, you can scrape it, you get damage. Eventually, these cars are very easy to damage, to be fair. You don't have to just damage the front wing and it'll all be over. However, not very easy though. I do find it interesting. If you can't actually knock the rear wing very easily off these cars, from the Renault cars compared to the front wings, you'd think the rear end would be very easy to go, but really not.
It's really interesting because it's something else. Normally we've got GT3 and also all other kinds of racing leagues, and this is really something different this time.
Indeed, it very much is. Well, we're getting ready to go there before the second race. Should be, I think, 30 laps, if I'm not too mistaken, ahead of the drivers.
Oh, it's a full reverse quit. It's not a top 8.
Oh, wow. I mean, I wasn't expecting 100 laps. There, last 100 laps to go then, lads. Apparently then, that's going to be interesting. I think they might have buggered that one a little bit there, but full reverse grid then. I always thought it was a top reverse 8, but I think for this race they're going to do reverse full grid. But Vetro, apparently it's all 100 laps, I know that for certain, unless I'm terribly mistaken, but 100 laps Vetro ahead of the drivers. You might be here a while, I reckon.
That'll take a while. Huh.
If it's not 100 laps, that'd be interesting. 100 laps of Falkenheim. Double race distance of F1, is it not? Nearly? Incredible. We're not doing 100 laps, don't worry. They'll change it down in a minute. If they don't, then they've done it wrong, because I know it's not 100 laps, it's 30 laps for the feature race. Full reverse grid vector. So that does mean now the top 2 Jazzman Kaiser starting right down the back. There we go. 29 laps, so about bang on your money as well. 40 minutes expect this race to be, Vetro, so anything can happen. And as I always say, Vetro, it usually does.
It very much does. It's 28 laps, Jasmine has just informed us. I've got the full reverse grid right here. On pole position it will be Racing at Home, Rob 2K, Cold Tire, Cian, STR Dan, Martin Robinson in 6th, Wim Stellamus, C. Fogarty, Chicano, Michael Linnell in 10th, Gleek, Tinnis, BKD, aka Big Daddy, Jasmine and Kaiser line up the rear of the field.
Indeed, so big questions then down the back for those two. We'll see what happens, Vetcher, because starting down the back of the grid often is where all the carnage can happen, so let's hope they get through as well. I feel very concern, especially for the likes of Fogarty, who'll be starting right in the midfield of this race. So if there's going to be carnage, actually, I feel Fogarty might very much be caught out in it.
It might actually be, and sometimes in some cases, especially on this track, the standing start might actually be a lot more comfortable than the rolling start, because normally you've got a light who tells you what to do and when you can go. With the rolling starts, the starting point is actually dedicated, made by the one in front. So people can be caught out, people can be hit in the rear, other people can lose a front wing. It might actually be a lot more chaotic than most people think. So we're up for a nice race, I think.
Indeed. Well, anything can happen, Vetro. First lap in this race. Carnage, drama, excitement, fire and disaster. Who knows what can happen, but getting ready to go, Vetro, with just a few seconds' time. Fogarty there in the chat, you can just see popping up his microphone. So, it's getting ready to go, Vetro. And who do you think's got the best chance of winning this race?
Yeah, it will be tough to go all the way back to the front for the back guys, but the Kaiser, just such a big difference to the rest of the field. So has Big Daddy. It might actually be possible that Big Daddy, if he gets in front of Kaiser, he might actually be able to stay in front. We don't know, and all we know is that we will find out when we go underway here in Germany for the second time.
Indeed. Well, let's get ready to go then, Vetro. Second time of asking. We're just getting ready to go in a few seconds' time, so I hope you get your popcorn ready and out patiently, because this is going to be a barnstormer of a race. We've seen it before around Hockenheim and GT3 Vetro, especially this season as well, and last season at historic Hockenheim, that Hockenheim often brings up the best type of racing as well, and especially it might even be on the Formula 1 calendar this year, of course, with everything going on. We can't say because we'll get demonetised.
Well, other than the first race, the mandatory pit stop will be on for this race, so don't be scared if your favorite driver does get a pit stop. It will not be for damage, but this time it will be mandatory. That means you don't have to add anything, you don't have to change anything. The only thing is you just have to come into the pits and go out of the pits. And that will also mean that people can do the undercuts, overcuts and the whatever cut, and cut in front of other people. And this will also be a rolling start. This will not be the official grid, of course. They will line up in the right grid order, do a lap, and when they go right back again on this grid, the one in front, which will be racing at home, will dictate the pace, and he will dictate when the race starts, and it will be on this, well, right here. It will be right here, and we will go into corner one.
Indeed. Well, let's get ready to go, Vetro. Just a few seconds' time. Waiting for the last couple of drivers to ready themselves up, and then of course we got that 5-second grace window where everyone has to stay in position. And let's just keep an eye out, Vetro, to see if anyone does make that small mistake. We do spot it, of course. New seasons, new drivers. There's often an opportunity for them to make a mistake. Racing at home so far in 5th, Fogarty in 6th, Michael had a clique, and the rest of them lining themselves down the field. The giant Mercedes-Benz logo in the background spinning around on its perk on top of one of the tallest buildings in this area, the circuit, which first hosted a race back in the 1920s on a circuit that went in the other direction than this, of course, and ran around.
You know what's ironic,
yeah,
actually? You see Jazzman, Tinnis, Kaiser and Big Daddy is completely the same as the top 4 of the other race, but it's completely turned around as well.
It is, you are correct there. Big Daddy, Kaiser, and everything, so very much reversed order. But let's go then. We've got the 5 red lights, rolling start, and then they'll be off down there. And perhaps someone, I thought for a second, a little bit jump at the start, but I think that's lag in the background. They all hold positions apart from 1-2 drivers at the background. That is not in position there, as there you can see Kaiser and Jazzman pulling well out the way down towards the back of the grid. So we now roll off the start then, and up front then, Racing at Home will lead the pack away then, ahead of the car of Rob 2K. Sian currently trying to line up positions back. This is always a very messy way to start races, in my opinion. right up the starting grid. I'm not often a fan for these rolling starts, but unfortunately it is the way it has to be made to get these reverse grids, unfortunately.
It is. There's no other way. You cannot do a custom grid order in the
settings, like Count Gran Turismo, for example.
Settings.
So that's unfortunate.
That's a bit of a shame. So the in-game rolling start does not work. But anyway, it's an effective way of doing it. Not a lot of things go wrong here. You can test your settings. You can actually test how the car feels, just like in real life, actually. And
as well.
when there's a technical issue, you could actually solve it before it's too late.
Luckily, no technical issues. And that's maybe that if they have a wheel issue, they can sort it very quickly. If it suddenly just switches off, you'll know because you'll see a car going straight off the circuit, which we not because no one's got a wheel issue yet. I've seen a few wheel issues in the past before as well, where wheels disconnect, controls disconnect as well. I've seen Stoll before having issues.
Catalonia.
Yeah, even in Catalonia once upon a time having an issue like that. I think they put himself in the wrong gears or something. Alas, that was about 3-4 seasons ago. Hard to remember exactly what it is, but do you remember it indeed? Racing at home, though. He's got it all to work for as well. He is one of the quickest drivers. He was about 7th, 6th position in qualifying, so he has a chance to run away with his teammate not too far back. He's sitting in 4th position. That is Sian. Indeed, there he is. STR Dan as well, who had those drama earlier on in the race. So, really, the top 4-5 positions, Vector, those are caught out in that massive accident just a couple of moments ago.
They might still have some fire in them if one of the guys caused a crash, and if some of the guys are irritated because of that, then we might get some battling going on, and let's hope this will be a clean turn 1 this time.
Indeed, turn 1 is crucial, turn 2 is crucial. Let's hope no mistakes then. Well, they're getting ready to go then. 2x2 they should be coming, and in a few seconds time there will be, of course. On the right will be racing home, on the left should be Rob 2K, especially in reverse order, of course, coming for the last points. It'll be left of your screen, will be racing home. The right will be Rob 2K. Well, let's get ready to go then. Vets are almost trying to make it 3 abreast in the background, but we're underway then. Racing at home, launches off the grid then. Good start away from him. Rob under press from Cold Tires through turn number 1. They almost make contact straight away then. Through turn number 1 though, everyone clean away, I think. It does seem so. Yes, they are. In the background, Kaiser and Jazzman. A little bit slow start down there, but everyone clean away up the inside there. Looks like Fogarty having a look on the car of Martin Robertson Vetro, but crucially, everyone clean away. No, they're not. One car spinning and that Fogarty almost in the water. It is.
Fogarty.
He has got away with it, though. He called that one just about. So Fogarty getting incredibly lucky indeed. They come down into the Parabolic Cup and down into the hairpin the first time, though. Cold Tire at the 2nd position. Rob 2K behind. Yeah, Cold Tire, incredible start for him as they all run themselves through the hairpin. As 1-2 car, small bit of contact down the back there. I think that must have been Cleek, I think. Rob running himself off the road as well. There's Cold Tire just up the road as well. So Vetro, so far at the start of this race, no real drama, might I say. They're 3-4 abreast though in the background. Oh, contact. Kaiser. That's one car off, another car off there. I'm wondering, is that Jazzman in trouble? No, that's, who's that I'm wondering in the background?
STR Dan.
STR Dan. I wonder, is Jazzman or Kaiser got damage from that?
It did look a bit iffy. I think there was a bit of contact. We'll see if someone pits.
Indeed, well, let's see if they do or not. It was very light contact, however, we know how easy it is to damage these cars. And we said it could happen as big slide. Another big slide for Jazzman as well. Kaiser, I think, it's got away with it though. He must have got very lucky. One car very wide for the last corner. That there must have been Chicano. I think that might be Chicano just going wide there, just ahead of them then. In the other red car indeed. But Sian, so far 4%, racing at home though. He's got that gap up front, and we said that, right? If you get clean air and you're not caught up in these battles, you really can run away with it.
He is running away with this. He's now got a 1 second gap to his colleague, which is called Tire. See what the gaps are right now when we go into this.
Incredible start, by the way, from the Kaiser.
There is, let's see, Chicano making a move on Wim Stradamus. Klieg getting overtaken by Michael.
Yeah, Michelle going through. Well, like I said, Fetch was about to say, incredible start from the cars. We'll go through the drivers as overtaken at the start of this race, as Tinnis having a battle here actually with Martin Robinson. We're going to do it around the outside there, my friend. Put himself on the curb as well for good measure. Kaiser was overtaken. Big Kid Daddy, Jazzman, Chicano, Wimstratus, Michael, Cleek, SCR Dan, and Fogarty. And we're only on that 3, by the way. That's an incredible list of drivers and talent he's overtaken. We're now on the 4th lap of this race. As Sian looking on the back of Rob 2K. The background now as well.
Look at the entire stream of cars.
Yeah, that is of Jazzman in the pit lane meanwhile. So Jazzman in the pit, I'm wondering, might that be for damage? Never mind, that is teammate having the look at the inside of Tinnis. These two very fond drivers as
There's
well.
A car off in the background, that's Cleek.
Yeah, Cleek in the background, good spot there. Vettura as well, Fogarty in the pits as well, but there is Kaiser now.
It's cold tyre.
Oh, it is cold tyre, it is now. What has happened to cold tyre? Because he was running up the front, was he not? And we must have missed it then. We didn't see it on our telemetry very easily, but he's gone off. And that's now put Kaiser up into 5th position. Is that the inside there? Actually, comes Synergy, says, no, you're not coming through. But there Kaiser says, no, you know what, sunshine, I'm going to take 1, I'm going to take 2. And he's through. They're free abreast there. Down to the right hand, Elizabeth Brave. Oh, there's contact. It had to happen. And there'll be contact more on the exit. There is. Sorely, there is. Bang! Straight into the side, even more contact. And there it goes.
Oh,
it had to happen. Tinnis and Kaiser come together. And that was the last thing Kaiser wanted after that incredible start. Oh, there's more contact as well. And that must have been, must have been Cleek. And poor old Kaiser, poor old Tinnis. It was always going to end in tears. There are 3 abreast down into the Mercedes arena. And unfortunately, 3 abreast there, Vetro simply does not go.
No, not at all. I think they've learned their lesson. It was a bad situation right there. They couldn't really get out of it. None of them want to give up, of course. There's another car there. It's Tinnis. I think
he's out of the race.
Be giving up, I think.
Yeah, I think he's out of the race, Vetro. I believe there. Looks like maybe engine.
Kaiser is making it to the pits, of course. Justman now. Maybe the undercut. Maybe the undercut will work. We'll see. He's getting hold up a bit by Cleek, though.
I want to be careful, of course. I want to get caught out as well. Big Cadet so far up to 5th position. Now, he's in a prime opportunity to win this race, you know. Seeing Racing at home in the chat saying he's going for the win. And right now, he's got a 5-second lead there. As Big Cadet, he's trying to sweep up the inside. It is pretty much a Jordan livery, Vetcher. He has the shark nose and everything. And if I don't say that's not a Jordan livery, I don't know what is.
Well, Jordan on a Renault. Let's see who's got the better power. Big Daddy has shown really good pace compared to anybody else. So.
Yeah, big twitty moment there. You can see all the gravel Vetro. Look at it, very slippery down there. The tyres are going to get no grip. There is Chicano, meanwhile. He's still catching up to this group as well. As there behind, that is the T-Spot livery, as I used to call it. And there is the Rapper Kappa car. Or as I always used to call it, the Kappa car. There is, so Tinnis out of the race. He's got a blown engine, Vetro, I reckon. So that's a real shame. So Cleek lagging absolutely everywhere. And yet Tinnis, no throttle, no input. So he has had an engine failure. Kaiser.
There's a car off, I think. There's a car off. I think there's a car off. No, it's a car in the pits. I thought there was a... Yeah, there was a dot stopped. But it didn't break the show. He was in the pits yet.
Yeah, Big Kid Daddy in the pit lane then at the beginning of this race.
I think up front.
Sian now leading. Yeah, Sian's leading that choice. So Racing Holmes made a mistake. He had 5 seconds. And now he's down to second. He might under pressure from Rob. Here he comes then. Rob looking to the inside, live through the parabolica. But the outside of Dad's was a hairpin. And absolutely nothing can Racing Home do. He looks like he got some damage, I wonder. Because that was very, very slow.
He's missing a lot of straight line speed.
Yeah, damage. You can see little weaving slightly.
In the chat's not happy with Martin. He's using some words I cannot say in the stream. But anyway, it's focused on Martin, so I think they made some contact right there.
Michael Renault doing a good job as well, by the way. He's currently in 4th position, 7th position in this race. He's got under pressure from Cleek right now. The driver, if I'm not mistaken, from the Netherlands against the driver also from the Netherlands. But I say, in really dangerous position. Luckily, it's ghosted Tinnis there, because that could be some almighty shunts down there if they're not careful.
Yeah, I think the ghosting system is doing a brilliant job there.
Up front, nope. Sian leads Rob, racing at home. Martin, my apologies there, from Chicano. From Stratus, Michael, and then Cleek in the background. There is Rob 2K going very wide. Not really taking too much care of the track limits. Oh, big twitch there from Cleek.
Big slide.
And now under pressure, up the inside comes STR Dan. Having a look. Oh, well, he's pushing him through the corner. He says, move over. He says, I'm going for 8th. And well, there's a bit of lag, actually.
That slide push can actually be massive damage on these cars.
Yeah, it could be.
You see Michael now close to Wim. And STR Dan close to Cleek.
Let's see, of course. Is STR Dan going to have a little lunge up the inside? No, he's a little too far back there, my friend. He won't do anything from there. In the pits, meanwhile, like I said, we've got Kaiser who's come back out, so he looks like this race is almost certainly going to be a long shot. But remember, we've still got, what, some 20 and a bit laps to go, Vetro, so anything can still happen in this race. And so far we've seen carnage, drama and excitement. Well, what can the second little bit do?
Well, the gaps are now a bit increased. We can now breathe. We can breathe a bit. After 7 laps, so I think well, this race is already being a treat for us. Bit of contact though, a bit of contact here and there. Only 1 retirement. Ooh, a bit of mistakes here and there. But everybody, you can see everybody's getting used to the car, seeing what can they do, what can they not do, being experimental, dive bombing here, dive bombing there, and having a good battle, and being really careful as well because they know, of course, damage is really sensitive on these cars.
Yeah, hitbox as well.
STR Dan is now the closest of all battles. STR Dan. We gotta watch out for any mistakes here and there.
Very laggy though. It's
very... is having massive lag.
Yeah. Now I wonder, Vetro, is that potential a red herring? Because we know if there's lag, how easy there could be contact, and I don't know if Dan can see it as well, but if Dan can, would you really be risking going for a move up the inside when all of a sudden there could be a sudden lag input and then you're upside down into the trees and out of the race?
Well, I think you talk of experience because I saw one time when I was in the share play with you. You were on a race with the Dona, I think. There was also another car in front of you, and then you got hit, and then you were upside down. So I think, well, I don't think that will be the risk in this case, but of course it might give you a slight nudge, and it might ruin your race. So I know what you mean. You don't really know where he actually is, so that will be a. I know what you mean. It will be a big risk when you overtake him.
Indeed, well, we're still currently on that. We're on lap number 9 of this 29 lap race, meaning we've still got 20 and a bit laps to go ahead of our drivers' victory. So we now pretty much got the sprint race and a little bit more coming to go. As Chicano, Martin Robertson currently in 4th and pressing from Chicano, and I imagine Chicano should easily be able to blitz past these relative new drivers, to be said. Chicano, he's an experienced little puppy dog. And let's see, well, can the puppy dog do new tricks until it disconnects from the server? Let's see, well, we're not going up the inside there, no. Martin a little bit late on the brakes. No opportunity, though, so far, because you've got to be ready. If you're in these Formula cars, actually, compared to others, you've got to be really close.
Yeah, he is using DRS. I thought he wasn't because I was looking at the speedometer. He wasn't using DRS on the straight, but now he is. Of course, when you don't use DRS, you will never get past because the car in front of you can. Everybody can use DRS, so the purpose of it is a bit defeated.
Well, to be fair, it's not really DRS. It's kind of the opposite of DRS because it stalls the rear wing as well. It closes it, but for some reason makes the car quicker compared to what it is. It's normally open, and they close it.
Reverse physics.
Yeah, reverse physics in real life, and that is how the Formula Renault works. I'm not too clued up how it works in real life as well, so I'll have to Google that. Maybe after this race, and I'll get back to you next week how it works. Don't forget, we'll be having some driver interviews after this race is done. It's Chicano having a look up the inside of Martin Robinson through turn number 1. Can't do a lot about it there. I just have to sit back on his merry way, but 1 car out of the race so far. We're on that number 10 of 29 in this afternoon's Grand Prix here in Germany. The afternoon sun setting down on the circuit. Temperature currently sitting very warm, I imagine, like it is, especially in the UK, especially wherever you're in the world. Hope you're enjoying the current climate. I hope everyone is staying safe and staying indoors as well. Well, Chicano, well, he's definitely want to be staying indoors. He wants to be staying on the inside. He doesn't want to be upside down. Good exit speed, but again, just the top speed though. Martin Robertson, good exit through the hairpin. And he's proving it a little bit of a difficult task right now. Good defending from the young new driver.
It really is. I think that, yeah, the defending is doing a really good job on him. And he's not finding a way past. He's been stuck behind him for a long while now. Of course, at the back there's also a lot of battling going on actually. I think Kleek and STR Dan are really close as well.
Yeah. Behind
close
them, Jazzman. Jazzman coming through.
Oh, fast.
Yeah, look, got through then. That was very optimistic.
Car stopped.
Martin Robertson. So, he's gone off then, and is he coming in the pit? Well, he thinks about it.
Pits.
Well, if he can get it.
There he goes.
Finally gets to the pit lane then. Stalled the car for good measure. And there we go. Good boy, my friend. Racing at home meanwhile. Third, still battling away with second position. So he's down to third now in this race. But he's still trying to come through. Chicane now with Stratus and Michael Lennart. Now these three drivers, Vetro, are really the top pinnacle of these tiers normally. They're normally around that tier 1, tier 2 pace, especially in GT3 and in the Endurance League, I believe they're all in the top tier. So let's see what they can do today, Vetro. Two team cars, Michael Lennart and Stratus. So let's see if they hold each other up too much. The last thing they want is contacts.
Yeah, well, the guys from behind are not really catching up that quickly. Jasmine has already stopped. Let's see actually at the timings. Oh, we can't see the pit stops from there. That's a bit of a shame.
30-second time penalty, and Biggie Daddy as well, 10 seconds. That's spinning the pit lane for him.
Oh,
so,
yeah, 30-second time penalty actually. Yeah, and 10 seconds for BKD. So that's a really big gap.
Now I'm wondering, Vector, has that been for passing a car and not giving the position back? Because I know it could give you penalties that large normally.
Might have happened at the start or with the crash. I haven't actually seen when he got that penalty.
Because Big Daddy came in the pit lane, so that's a speeding fine there for him. So that's slam dunk normally.
Stewards might actually take that penalty away when it's
meanwhile, racing at home, having a look here on the outside Vetro. Has a look, can't do it. Now let's see slipstream type. Now which way does he dare go? Does he go to the outside or does he go to the inside? Well, so far he's a little bit far back to have a sliver of the inside because now he's about 3-4 car lengths back. Unless, of course, he's optimistic, which he does just stay behind for the time being. Rob, incredible late braking so far in this race. He's really impressing me so far. Behind them, like we've said, we've got Chicano and then Stratus and Michael. So Michael and Stratus technically now in 4th and 5th. In the back.
Bit of contact at the back there.
Yeah, look like it. As that's Jazzman.
Jazzman and also a one of those McLaren cars in front of
Kaiser.
them. It's Kaiser, but what position is Kaiser then?
Down in 13th, he's a lap down.
He's a lap down, so he's got a way better pace. So what Jasmine can do is also got way better pace. He's one of the fastest. He's got to watch out though because Kleek is lagging a lot.
Oh,
on the inside he goes. Kleek knows he's faster.
Yeah, very laggy overtake there. That looked very intriguing there, I must say. That bit scripted in my opinion there. Let him through. Big snap there from the Kaiser. He keeps the car low. He's pushing it hard, my friends, and especially in this type of race so the attrition levels are definitely going to get to because it's very warm, especially in Europe right now. Coming through a relatively small level heat wave, to be fair.
It actually is. Oh, Wim Stradamus has lost the front wing.
Now, where has Lack gone then? Has he hit his teammate, I wonder? They were together.
They were together. Who was his teammate again?
Michael.
Where's Michael now?
He is 5th position. Fifth. See, maybe not then. Now the question is, what's happened there? Meanwhile, that is Kaiser getting out of the way of Jazzman in the background there, so they're unlapped each other. But big shame there for the poor old driver of Rim Strategy. Often he does so well in these races, and then just gets a small mistake. Oh, there goes the Kaiser! Is he caught it again? Yes, he has. And he is pushing his luck today in this afternoon's race, isn't he?
He definitely is. Let's see who is in the yellow car behind him. Well, actually, SDR Dan and Chicano have met each other. And Jasmine is getting close as well now, so it'll be a battle. Oh, there we go. Chicano goes into the pits.
You know what,
Jasmine will move up in position.
There's always still a chance. It's a long shot, but there's still a chance that Jazzman can win this race. I reckon.
Yeah, he's already pitted, and everybody in front of him still needs to pit. And look at the lap times he's doing. He's doing high 25s.
Dan gets out of the way as well.
Is doing 26.9. So
everyone's just getting out of the way of him, Vetcher. There's no one's really fighting him. I don't know why. They just all seem very nervous. They don't want to fight him today. And that just seems to be a common trend, meanwhile. That is Dan, and that must be Big Kid Daddy there in 7th, by the way. That's the yellow car we're seeing in the background, the Jordan of Big Kid Daddy. Stratus and Chicano, both in the pit lane currently, as Kaiser getting out of the way from his fellow friend as well. So, Jazzman, he's now got 2 seconds to close up to Michael. I don't think Michael too much pressure up against him. And then he's really just got the top 3-4 drivers ahead of him. So this race is not over, Vetcher, by a long shot.
Not at all. We've still got 6 plus 9 is 15 laps to go.
And that's racing at home, Vetro. Sorry to cut over you. That is racing at home. In trouble there. He's now down to 4th. He's under pressure from Jazzman, who has a look there for a second up the inside. He's going to be on the podium in a second here. This is stonking pace from him. He's having a look. He's just waiting. You see, half throttling it. He's not trying to push the car too heavily. And let's see in the pits.
And into the pits he goes.
Now up to 4th position.
Anyway.
He did, yeah, he did have to pit.
I think Jasmine is getting a podium because none of the top 3 has pitted yet, and he's only the gap of 17 seconds, so he might actually win this race if nothing crazy happens. And if he stays on track.
Well, Vetri, to be fair, he's going, what, 2 seconds a lap quicker than everyone else there. It's 26.8. The nearest driver to him, Fogarty, 25.4. A little bit further back there is Fogarty. That is Chicano actually there. Fogarty's the car ahead of them. We've got a lot of penalties meanwhile in this race. We'll go through it in a little while. But Martin Robertson.
Look at his battle first. He was in front. He was in 10th for a small moment. But not too much. Oh, Martin Robertson goes wide.
Yeah, that's the end of that battle there.
Losing a lot of time because of that.
Yeah, end of that battle there. A little bit too wide on the brakes. Then locked the car up, went straight on. In the background there, I thought for a second someone else went straight on, but a little bit of a lag spike for some driver at 10.31 and 2 then. So
10 for Bicadaddy, 1 for Martin Robertson, and 2 for the Kaiser.
Yeah, and of course that 30 seconds for poor Chicano, which we'll see what happened later on. Meanwhile, look, Jazzman, well, right now, do you reckon he's going to be pushing on hard, or do you think he's going to be just trying to be cautious, not try and take too many risks?
Definitely pushing. Last lap, I'll say 26.8 though, but it was because he was hauled up a bit.
Rob in the pits. So Jazzman up to the podium, of course. Remember, he has not to stop
and
in this race.
He will get Michael on the space, and he will get Cian on the space.
So we're looking at an incredible race for your race leader as well. Behind the Big Kid Daddy, not too far off as well. He's still got a chance of a podium, to be fair. Because look, the gap behind them, and these two have pitted, by the way. Big gap downwards.
Yeah, Big Daddy and Jasmine will now begin their march up the field.
And through that, right? Michael's got out of the way of Jasmine then. So Michael not battling. So he knows. I think he knows. I think he knows Vetcher. There's no point battling them because they're a whole. They're pretty much a different race, and Michael's still got to stop, of course. And
but he can slow him down. He can slow him down. So if Jasmine makes a mistake, he can increase his chances of taking advantage of that later on in the race.
Well, it's a marathon, not a sprint, Vetcher. You got to think of it.
A naughty guy, but
it's marathon, though. So you got to take the longer option. Fogarty. Bit of a mistake, Rob.
Rob only almost making contact with him.
Yeah, they are racing home meanwhile. They're 7 seconds back. We've got 1 lap car. That's from Stratus in between them there. The blue car you're seeing going through. Shot behind that as well is, I believe,
Fogarty and Rob are beside right now. And Rob made a tiny mistake, I think, and went back again. I think he did go in front of him for a tiny whiny bit.
Yeah, I mean, he got a good line there. I think he must have had a little look on the inside, but you're not really... Fogarty is an old horse, really. He's an old dog, you often say. He's vicious, he's aggressive, he's beautifully timed. He is the veteran, of course, and you've got to give credit to him, especially for like the G3 season. Well, of course, I commentate, and we're coming to the final race this week, by the way, coming Wednesday, so do look forward to that one. But a lot of mistakes, veteran, for some drive. But Fogarty, he seems to got his mojo in these Formula Renaults.
He really does. He really does. I think P5 from well, I don't really know from what position he started in total. I'll actually check that because I can check that really quickly. He started from
8th position. So
he did 8th position, so he did make up 3 places, so it's not too bad. Michael and L still behind Jasmine, but not that much. But then again, look at the pace Jasmine puts up compared to Cyan, a second quicker. See, actually, this new lap.
Now what, is it going to be a 25-0? Another 1.3 seconds lap quicker. The background, meanwhile, Big Daddy also...
Cyan's got a penalty.
Yeah, 1 second. Big Daddy also flying as well on this race. 126.2. Not as quick as Jasmine. The other new driver really that close was Fogarty. He's now down into 28 because he's having a battle. He should be able to up his pace a little bit now. So we're starting to see actually it's kind of big gaps. There's Fogarty in the pit lane then. And I'm wondering, he's already stopped, so I'm wondering that's the second stop then. And I'm wondering what that's for.
Well, or this one is for a tiny whiny bit of maybe he had a contact with Rob. Or who did he battle with? I think it was Rob.
Yeah, it was Rob. You're right there, Vetro. Big Daddy low on the back of Michael there now. Battle for 3rd and 4th position in this race. A big gap, Vetro down to 5th. So Big Daddy, even that penalty, he should definitely at least be in the top 4. As I think Michael's going to get out of the way there. I think he knows. Yeah, he's in his own race right now, to be fair. I don't think he wants to battle too hard. He doesn't want him in contact. So Michael's thinking the strategic game right now. He's thinking, if I have contact here, it's going to go wrong. Meanwhile, Chicano on the inside of Cleek, the battle of the seas. And they just about keep position so far. Cleek still ahead of Chicano. Fogarty 1 minute 20 behind Lem.
And let's see.
Jazzman's gone off, Vetro. He's made a mistake.
Jazzman, yes. I was looking for something. Something happened up front, but it was Jasmine actually. He's lost the positions to both Big Daddy and Michael and L.
Yeah, 134. He must have gone on the curb, Vetro. He must have spun the car. I don't think he's got damage, however, because he doesn't seem to be going slow. So he must have got very lucky. But so far on the front of this race, Cyan, who we believe, Vetro, if I'm not mistaken, you have to do a mandatory pit stop.
Yeah, but yeah, I wanted to say something. Jasmine, he did seem really slidey coming out of the last corner. Maybe he overcorrected it. Well, maybe he corrected it a bit too much or not enough, and he tried to go a bit too quickly through there, and the slide went a bit too big, and he couldn't hold it anymore. That's what I think happened. Yeah,
that's always a possibility, Vetro there. So Chicano, meanwhile, he's all over the back of Cleek, and that is the battle for 8 positions so far in this race. Fogarty, by the way, isn't too far back, actually. He's only 6 seconds, so he was at 1 minute 20, like it said a few minutes ago. He's now 6 seconds, so he's blistering pace. 1 minute, it was over 1 minute 14 seconds quicker that lap, clearly. Of course, that was a bit of a telemetry mishap there from our telemetry guys, so everything back to normal so far. Martin Robertson down there in 10th, Fogarty there currently in the position of 10th. As now Jazzman tries to challenge and try and catch back up to their top 3-4 drivers. As we're still waiting for Cyan to come in the pit lane from the lead.
Yeah, Cyan's now got a 17-second lead. He's not doing very bad. He's now on the 25.9s.
A bit of lag there,
solid pace. 9 laps to go. He might still be up for a podium. I think he can get 4th if he pits. I think he will fall down back to 4th, actually. Chicano still behind Cleek.
Yeah, still can't do it.
He's just put in his best He's going faster than his fastest lap so far, so he's on the pace.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised he can't get past, because look at Cleek right now. The lag is incredible there. He was completely off circuit, might I say, through Mobile 1. He was in the gravel. He was in a different car. He was basically driving around Silverstone here compared to Hockenheim, really. That's how wide he was. However, he carries on his
doing
way.
the classic Hockenheim.
He might have been doing the classic Hockenheim there, going completely wide, but he keeps himself kind of on the island, give or take. But he carries on, again, very wide there, and now here we go. Chicano, he has the inside line, now late braking, can he do the inside this time? There'll be contact if they're not too careful, around the outside off the road. Laggy back through, and now he's ahead then. So, Chicano back ahead of Cleveland in this race, but it's not over, as now the top three have all got themselves time penalties. As now Michael's down to 4th position. This is Cleek going to have a look up the inside of Chicano. Chicano hogs the inside line like a log. And he says, you're not coming through, my friend. Cleek might try the cut back, but he won't do it there. A little bit too far back. Nope, doesn't do it. So Cleek holds that 8th position so far, Vetro.
Oh, he's still got an axe, and he can still chop down the log if he wants to. But I think the log is walking away right now from him.
Well, I'd be concerned if the log was walking away, but I get the metaphor. At least as old Cleek, laggy, absolutely everywhere.
It is a metaphor, but it doesn't really work anymore.
No, it doesn't really work.
Well, the log is rolling away. Let's look at it.
The log is rolling down
the
a hill, and it's going to probably run over some people because you can't stop a log when it starts rolling. Meanwhile, let's have a look at Jazzman. By the way, he's currently got a 1 second time penalty. We're still waiting for Cian to come in the pit lane. Meanwhile, up front, so
they're not major penalty.
A major penalty to Pop Big Kid Daddy, so he's likely to be down the order a little bit. Michael, meanwhile, he's dropped a few seconds, by the way. He's now 25 seconds.
Actually, it's really close. Look at Michael and now and Big Kid Daddy. The gap is 10 seconds from the two of us. It will be a battle for 4th and 2nd for both of them.
Remember that Michael's got to come in, though. Michael's got to come in, so...
Yes? Yeah, he does. Yeah.
It's not over yet, of course, in this race. Still waiting for the race leader to come in. Is actually talking about Michael coming in. Michael comes in on cue, then. So that's Kaiser coming through. He's a lap down, remember, as they come down towards the pit lane. Stop at about 60 kilometres an hour, of course, in pretty much all cars. Well, all cars in this game, 60 kilometres an hour. Stop, get to the marks. Lollipop Man goes up, Lollipop Man runs across, and Michael now takes on his fuel. Takes on the tyres, while he takes on a little bit of fuel, I reckon, maybe 1-2 litres, give or take.
Through. Racing at Home goes through. And I think STR Dan might go through, because he's now in the final 2 corners. I think he will stay in front of Chicano, but I'm not too sure, certain. I don't know how long...
Michael's leaving now.
Yeah, he's going again. So he'll stay in front of Chicano. And he goes back down to 7th.
Up front, though.
So now, Big Daddy, 10-second penalty. He will only lose 1 place if it stays like this.
Well, he might win this race, Venture, to be fair. It'll be an amazing achievement if he does, but...
I think
with that
Jazzman
penalty...
might, because, yeah, he has got a penalty. Cian will pit. He will lose the position to Big
under
Daddy.
Pressure. Under pressure! Oh, almost contact there with 1 car. I wonder who on earth was that? Just having a look.
I think...
Is that Fogarty?
I think they're not... It might be, but why? Because he's a lap down.
Well, he's quick, Venture. He's come out the pit lane. He's coming through. Here he is. Yeah, look, he's in this big...
He shouldn't take the risk to take out the leader, though.
He's having a look. He's going through. Then late on the brakes goes Fogarty. He's going to take the position. He wants to be careful that there's no contact. And he gets that job done very quickly then. I thought there was almost contact. There definitely nearly was. And we got away with it on lap 23 now for your lead up. Fogarty being very, very... very aggressive there.
It was a bit too close, I think, in turn 2. That didn't look really comfortable for the race leader, but neither for Fogarty. So it was a close call there.
Fogarty's saying what 126 is right now. He's flying around this circuit compared to everyone else. But Big Kid Daddy and Jazzman in the 25s now. They're taking 2-3 seconds a lap out of Cian. And if I was Cian right now, I'd come in the pit lane. In the background there, is that 1 car out of front wing I thought there for a second? Hard to say. It's his teammate.
Yeah, you saw that correctly. He was one of the Renault cars. Who might that be?
Mark?
Who might that be?
It's not Martin, it's... Is cold tires? No, it's not cold.
No, cold tires is in the.
There's Rob.
It's Rob's teammate. Oh, it's Martin. It's Martin
Yeah,
Robinson.
Martin in trouble then, so he's lost the front
probably.
wing of the car. So trouble for him. Currently on that number 23 of 29.
Kaiser in the background.
Yeah,
Almost losing
Kaiser. Another mistake for him, of
Disastrous
course.
race for him.
Yeah, if it's gone wrong, it's gone very wrong for him today in this afternoon's Grand Prix. Racing at home, he's currently in 5th position. He might get 4th out of this as well. He might even get 3rd if he's not too. If he's lucky, he might actually get 3rd out of this race, Vector. It's always a possibility because he is closing up on this gaggle of cars up the road. We're on that number 24 of this 29 lap race. When we've got what, some 6 laps to go. Race is not over though for the battle of the podium.
The gap is way too big from the 4th position to the 3rd, so getting a podium will be a miracle for racing at home right now. Even for Rob it might be a miracle, but miracles do happen. And let's see if it's one of those miracle days today.
Let's see.
But it's gonna happen. That miracle is going to happen within 5 laps though, and within 5 laps CN also has got to pit. Otherwise, you'll be likely disqualified from the race if he doesn't.
You're right there, Vetro. He has to pit because he's remember. Does he know, though? That's the question because everyone else is pitted by him
does
now.
No, that is a thing I've been thinking about. He is of course new. It has been said in the chat right before the race, so but he might not have the chat open. Let's hope he knows, because it will be a big shame if he does not pit now, because he will likely get a podium out of it.
Look at the train of cars, Vetro, ahead of him as well. He's got what 1, 2, 3, 4 cars just a little bit ahead of him here as Kaiser, as Martin Robertson in the pit lane. Meanwhile, he's having a tough afternoon. Of course, he lost the front wing earlier on. Had that horrible race 1 Vetro was upside down. Managed to recover it to up into about 8th, 7th position. Oh, 1 car off, racing at home. It's racing at home, and when I said he'll have a chance for a podium, he's thrown it away. And, well, he might say he might not get a podium, but if the car ahead got disqualified, if he doesn't pit, he would have. There would have been a chance, but now he's spun, he's down there as well. Lucky he doesn't get any damage from that as well as Fogarty. Starting to close up on Cleek right now. That's the battle for 9th position. And then up the road there is his teammate.
You do say that he's got a potential chance for a podium, but I don't really see that chance happening unless one of the top 3 will disconnect and or be disqualified, because the gap is 40 seconds, like a bit less than 40 seconds.
About 50 seconds now, actually, Vetro, so it's opening up more now.
Yeah, to the front, but to P3 is about 40 seconds.
Let's see, though. 1 car going very slowly on the exit the pit lane, meanwhile. I think getting out of the way of 2 cars there. Up front, though, still waiting for your race leader to come in the pit lane. As Fogarty having a look on the back of Cleek. In the background, you should be able to see your race leader closing up on these guys, actually. And they're dropping back a little bit now.
It is. And we can see Big Daddy now being under pressure from Jazzman.
Yeah,
and this is for the podium, but anyway, Big Daddy's got a 10-second penalty, so Jazzman does technically not have to get through. It will give him a good feeling if he does.
Let's see, Lopes. Yeah, he should be coming in the pit lane back. So I reckon if he doesn't come, well, he has got to come in this lap or next lap, or he's going to be disqualified.
He does as well. Is pitting on lap 28 too late then?
28 you can get away, 28 you can get away, but if it's any later than 28, you're really going to be in a lot of trouble because you'll be disqualified. So he's got to come in.
Ooh, Cleek, there we go. That's a really big lag spike.
And here goes
But
Fogarty.
it goes wide, there's no lag, and Fogarty does go into P9. But what do the penalties say actually between these 2 guys?
Well,
we'll see in a moment.
Fogarty hasn't, and Cleek hasn't either, so no penalties for either of them. Chicano has got a penalty, but here comes Cleek is going to come straight back at him then. So here we go then. Cleek having a look up the inside. Fogarty didn't cover it off well enough, and he's given the opportunity now. Cleek will do late braking. Now let's see, Fogarty, can he do the cut back through then? No, he can't do it so far, but Cleek going off to the Nadia there. And Fogarty, yeah, Fogarty might come back through, then he's alongside it, pulls back low, doesn't want to try and risk it. And he might try up the inside here, but a little bit again, too far back, Vetro.
Yeah, bit too far back. A nice move from Kleek, I must say. Nice move from Fogarty as well. Nice battle between the two of them. Oh, there.
No, there he goes. We had to say it, Vetro.
The Kaiser's too far back.
That was Jazzman coming through, I think. Was that not? No, it's not. Yeah, it is. No, it's not Jazzman. Why? You're racing into Cyan.
I thought Kaiser was a lot closer to Fogarty, and I thought he was going through.
Let's have a look at Cyan, by the way, Vetro, to see if he's coming in the pit lane yet. He's got to do it. He's got to do it this lap, Vetro.
I don't think he knows.
Well, he's got to do it this lap.
Or maybe he will just save up on laps in the lead, statistically. That might also be the case.
Well,
but he's also losing time a bit.
Well, he's got to pit, Vetro. If he doesn't pit this lap, he'll be disqualified from the session, because that is the rules and regulations.
That will be really anticlimactic, because Cyan will mean, because if he pits now, actually, he will be on the podium. He will finish third. That'll be a great result for him. I will actually feel generally very bad for him if he does not know that he has to pit, because that will mean he will lose a really good result.
Indeed, well, there's Fogarty, I think, right behind him there. He's trying to come back through the field. Cyan, he's on his way to the line to surely a pit stop. He has to pit, remember.
Final chance.
If he doesn't, he will be disqualified.
This lap will actually see if he knows he's got a pit, or if he unfortunately didn't get the message through, which will be a really big shame. Well,
Vetro, it should say, it does normally, if I'm not mistaken, it will say if you have to pit, of course. It will come up on the right side. Pit this lap mandatory. So he should come in the pit lane. I'll be gobsmacked if he does not come in. And it will be an absolute travesty and a horrible moment. Does he come in? Yes, he does. Yeah, he does come in last lap then. So leaving it very late then in the pit lane. But he does come in finally. We are now on the final lap. Big Daddy will take the lead, but remember he has that time penalty. Jazzman in second position. Absolutely flying in this afternoon's race, might I say.
He's doing a great job, Jazzman. Great comeback for him. Let's see, actually, Chicano and Michael Linnell still very close together. Chicano going defensive. Michael Linnell trying to go to the outside. Maybe get a better exit. He does not. Chicano gets a better exit, so we'll keep an eye on this. Sienka's out of the pits.
Way ahead
and he rejoins in third position.
Now up front though, Bicky Daddy. He's doing an okay job so far, Vetro, and even though that penalty, he's really, I've got to say, he's one of the drivers of the day to me. He's not made a single mistake. He's kept the car clean throughout the afternoon. Where Jazzman's made mistakes here and there, he threw away the lead, but he's still going to win the race because remember, Bicky Daddy has that time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But it's been an incredible drive from Bicky Daddy, hasn't it?
The P13 and the P14 man who started on those positions respectively has made it all the way back to the front of the field. Now that's worth an applause for.
Indeed, well, through the final corners then. He won't win the race on merit, but he'll win the race in the hearts, and he'll definitely say he won the race on in his books. Bicky Daddy then through the last corner. He didn't win the race in race number 1, but he wins the race in race number 2. But he won't because Jazzman will win it because he didn't have the penalty.
Both really, really well done. I think they both deserve to be 1 and 2 in either place. And anyway, Cyan, in one of his first outings in AOR, in one of the top leagues, he gets a really nicely deserved podium. Great race for him.
Indeed, Cyan then, a fine Vettel third then for the driver. Rob 2K meanwhile coming through the last corner. He'll be in fourth position.
Racing at home, and FTR Dan still fighting for it.
Yeah, penalty low for racing at home.
Oh yeah, there is a penalty. Anyway, coming through the line is Rob for a nicely deserved P4 as well.
Jimmy's heart out this afternoon. P4 for him, racing at home. He won't finish in P5, I don't think, because he's got a 2-second time penalty, if I'm not too mistaken. So Dan should be P5. Or no, he's not, because it was a 1-second penalty. Chicano P7, Michael in 8th then. Disappointing race for him. We're now waiting for Mr. Carl Fogarty for the last corner. 2 stops for his boat. Again, Couldn't finish in the top 4 or 5, but again, it's 9th, Cleek in 10th, and that is your top 10 vets. So the only ones that finished on the lead lap.
Yeah, well, it was a really, really great race. It had a lot of things. I'm sorry if I didn't sound that excited or something. I don't really feel energized today because there's a lot of things going on in my life at the moment. But anyway, it has been a really good pleasure. It's fine. It's really fine feeling to be back in the commentary box. Next week I'll be more energized, more fit to go all the way and completely all out on the commentary. I hope you enjoyed it at least, and
indeed, Vetro.
Maybe we can do some interviews. Is that possible?
We can do some interviews, Vetro. I'll get some in. Let's get some drivers in then. The chat. As I send an invite, do hold on there in the chat, everyone there. If you're seeing the blue screen, you should be able to hear my beautiful voice. However, and we'll have a look at... Indeed. Well, we're holding here for a few of the drivers to join our favourite little interview box. Not often we do interviews because, of course, we can't do it on GT3. But when I'm here, we can do interviews. And we'll start off with the man, because he's joined, because I can hear him slightly in the background. I can hear 2 drivers in the background so far. We'll start off with Jazzman. You won the race. An incredible comeback through, damaged a few spins earlier on as well. How did you find that out there?
Yeah, I had a weird thing with my pedals. I was hitting the brakes and it wasn't registered, like it would half register. So that caused me to go wide, and then I spun going through the last corner.
Yeah.
Which gave obviously Big Kid Daddy the lead. But luckily for me, he had a 10-second penalty, so I mean, I didn't have to worry too much about the race win. But I think what I was really pleased with was my undercut, because I saw how the battling was up in front, and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to get out of that, and just drive my own race and see what happens. So I'm glad in the end that my strategy worked out, and it got me the win for the second race, the feature race. So I'm very happy. Indeed,
your teammate unfortunately had no luck. Do you know what happened to him?
No, obviously not. The race is just finished, but I saw them all battling, Tennis, the Kaiser, with somebody in front. It looked like there was quite a bit of a battle, because I was like a good 2 seconds behind. And I saw that they were jockeying for position, so that's what made me pull into the pits early, because I just wanted to avoid that. So maybe they had it coming together. What happened? Obviously, I don't know.
We didn't see it either, so that's why I was asking you.
That's what I mean. I don't know. I suspect probably because he was a lap down. I suspect there must have been a coming together. Because Tennis also retired, so I suspect something happened.
Oh, he blew his engine up. I think he had a coming together with Rob.
Okay, see, like I said, that's not me. I think Big Kid's more to talk about that, because I was obviously doing my undercut. I think Big Kids can talk about those incidents rather than me. Yeah.
Moving on to second position, who, in the hearts of all of us, won the race. Big Kid Daddy, you won it in our hearts. Again, driver of the day for me. Brilliant driving, always. Cheers. You get the driver of the day. So how was it for you there? And take us through some of the incidents, because I think you saw some of the incidents, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, to be honest, I can't really remember much of it. I just remember those incidents, and luckily I avoided them. I should have come in when Jazz came in, really. But yeah, I stayed out a lap later. Yeah, I'm gutted, really, but happy at the same time.
Spending the pit lane, I believe, was it not there? Was that 10 seconds?
Yeah, it was 10 seconds in the pits, yeah. I slowed down in second gear rather than knocking it down to first.
Okay.
So that second gear movement kept me going a bit, but yeah, it could have been the first race win in ages, but another time.
Indeed. Well, you won it in our hearts, so that's all that matters. Well, onwards down to third position now, and the man who, for quite a while, was worrying us because he wasn't coming in the pit lane. Cyan, you made us have very nervous and wet stuff down below whilst we were waiting. Take us through your race, though. That brilliant third on your debut.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Well, the reason I didn't pit all race until the very last lap was because I was lucky enough to find myself in a position where I was in free air. And yeah, I wasn't too confident around this track, to be honest. I hadn't done much preparation, so I just thought my best chance of a good result was to stay in clean air as long as I could, and there's less chance I'd make a mistake. So that was the thinking behind it, and then just pit the last lap to see where I'd come out.
All right, yeah, we were thinking a lot that you might not know that you have to have a mandatory pit stop, but then we were like, oh yeah, you get a message in game, so he should be comfortable. I was like, well, to get a podium will be a really good result for him, so it will be a shame if you got disqualified for that reason.
Yeah, I was aware of it, but as you say, I would have got the message anyway. But yeah, I'm quite happy with third, to be honest. I didn't expect to win it anyway, so yeah, it just worked out well enough, I think.
Indeed, you call up and passed racing at home as well in that race. I saw seemed you made a few mistakes out there because you were quite far back, about 5-6 seconds. Do you know what happened to him?
Yeah, he spun there at turn 2, so yeah, I didn't have to overtake him at all. He had spun out, so yeah, I only had to make one overtake all race. I think it was on Rob, was the only one I made, and then I found myself in clean air and just stayed there until the end.
Indeed. Well, Vetro, have you got any questions of the drivers?
No, I don't have any concrete questions. I just want to congratulate everyone. And also Jasmine and Big Daddy, great job of getting all the way back to the front from 13th and 14th on the grid.
Nice one.
And so, yeah, a great result also for you, third position. It's a nicely deserved podium.
Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah,
Congrats
well done, man.
to the other two drivers.
Cheers, on you.
Thank you.
Indeed. Well, in 2 weeks' time, we go to... Jasmine, where do we go to in 2 weeks' time? Because I forgot.
2 weeks' time. Oh, that is the question. I haven't looked at the calendar.
Oh, this isn't good.
I haven't looked at the calendar, but wait. I can easily find
professional commentary here.
Yeah. I would suspect. Let me quickly have a look. It shouldn't give me 15 seconds, guys, and I will be able to tell you exactly what race it is.
Roll the drums.
I wasn't expecting this question, guys. You put me on the spot, man. Bit of pre-race warning would have been nice. All right, here we go. 10 seconds, 10 more seconds. Okay, here we go. Race. Yeah. I'm under pressure here, man. I'm making mistakes. Second race is Sakito.
Yes.
Sakito. Yeah.
Nice flowing track. Good.
Yeah. The proper track. Yeah.
Join us in 2 weeks' time here at Japan for Sakito, and of course, more importantly, join us next week, or well, this week, because this is this week. Join us on Wednesday as we go to GT3 as I get my Jess back as well, and some nice fancy graphics as well. Until then, in 2 and a bit days' time, I've been Evil. Vetro, thank you for joining me in the comment box. Indeed, it's nice and pleasant to see you. I'm pointing like as you're next to me, but you're not. Nonetheless, thank you for joining me, Vetro, today.
Yeah, no problem. I've really enjoyed it, and like I said, I wasn't really that energized today. I'm a bit sorry for that. Anyway, in 2 weeks' time, I will be back fully energized and stuff. It'll be a party at Sakito. We will all really enjoy it, and it's been a pleasure to be in the commentary box again. And we'll see you soon.
Indeed. Well, for the first time in a while, I've been Evil. Vetro's been Vetro. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for all the drivers that joined our little comment box for the drivers' interviews. Until next time in Sakito, I've been Evil. Vetro's been Vetro again. Take care and goodbye.